She was the wife of an Army soldier stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord when she learned she would not survive her battle with a rare cancer. Amanda West was 32 years old when she died in February of 2019.
Parents are not supposed to outlive their children.
Her father, David Griffin, who spoke with us from his home in Oklahoma, says even in her grief, Amanda wanted to give back.
She saw this as her obviously last chance to help out her fellow man.
Amanda filled out the paperwork to donate her body after her death to the University of Washington Medical School.
She was clearly under the impression that they were going to use her body for research.
But donated cadavers don't always end up where the donors intended, as seen earlier this month in Boston.
What do you have to say about these charges, sir? This is your chance to speak.
The FBI arrested Cedric Lodge, the morgue manager for Harvard University's Willed Body program, in a multi-state investigation into the sale of human body parts. He's one of several defendants accused of fueling the macabre, profitable trade of bones, brains, and skin.
Why did you want to speak now?
I would say that this is not a one-off or small thing. This is a widespread problem.
Griffin believes this because of what happened to Amanda's remains after she died. They ended up in the hands of a private, for-profit body broker named Walter Mitchell. In 2020, Mitchell transported the remains of 10 Washington state donors, including Amanda, to Arizona, where he dumped them near Prescott.
Mr. Mitchell took her final wish and threw it out.
Walter Mitchell was sentenced to 6 years in prison last year.
Family coming up, that hurts. That hurt me. And I take responsibility for what I did.
Private body brokers do provide human remains to medical and research companies for legitimate purposes. But the criminal case raised unanswered questions about Mitchell's handling of donations. How did Amanda's body end up with Mitchell? When her parents called the University of Washington hotline to report Amanda's death, her donation was unexpectedly rejected, and an alternative, Walter Mitchell, was suggested.
I thought that this person, whoever was on the other line of the phone, was with UW, and we thought that, they were recommending this, so he must be a legitimate guy, and it must be a legitimate business.
The University of Washington's Willed Body program blamed a contractor for referring rejected donors to Mitchell. But either way, Mitchell had a pipeline into the Northwest's most distinguished medical school. The University of Washington has a duty to protect donors from brokers like Mitchell, according to donor families.
I'm more disappointed in the University of Washington Medical School than I am with Walter Mitchell.
Evans Wilson's mother, Maudine, was another donor rejected by the University of Washington. A DNA test ultimately determined that she was not among the remains in Arizona. The Wilson family wonders what really did happen to her remains and blames the UW for connecting them with Mitchell.
Because they've basically denied any responsibility for any of this.
He loved his dog Beetle very much.
A similar reaction from the family of Douglas Patterson, rejected by the UW and referred to Mitchell.
For the University of Washington, who is like a respected, medical school, for them to be so careless, I don't get it.
Other renowned universities like UCLA, George Washington, and the University of Texas have been rocked by scandals in their willed body programs. There's clearly a lack of regulation, says David Griffin.
I do feel like that needs to change, and I don't believe it will until we can get a white-hot spotlight shown on the whole body donation industry or system.
In a statement, the University of Washington said it did not have a relationship with Mitchell, and it stopped its contractor from referring rejected donors to any specific body brokers. It stopped doing that 2 years ago when we first reported on this issue. But critics say the reason we see these types of scandals every couple of years is because there is no federal regulation. Mitchell, who had a felony record, he didn't need a license. There are no inspections required for universities or for-profit brokers, and no tracking of where those donations go. So they kind of go into this black hole here.
Which is actually stunning, I think,
for most of us when you think of common sense and how this should work, probably.
Yeah.
So Harvard, so renowned, this case so disturbing.
Yeah.
Could it lead to regulation?
I think it's already headed that way, Joyce. 2 bills have been rush filed in both houses of the U.S. Congress. They would empower the Department of Health and Human Services to set up licensing and regulation of whole body donation. But I should point out that bills have been floated in the past and they've died in the face of fierce opposition in Congress. So we'll see where these new bills go.
Just blows me away that we're still dragging
It's
on
stunning.
with no regulation in this industry.
That's pretty much the way it is. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.